And so the question I guess everyone wants to know is, how does something like this get missed in such a high-profile case, or was it missed?
Well, I can tell you this, Drew. First of all, thank you for having me. I remember sitting right next to you when we were discussing my book before it came out, and I told you that there was things that were in this book that were going to shock people. It only took a few months for people to realize, but first of all, I don't believe this evidence was missed at all. I think it was clearly there. I think there are reports, and in my book I lay out the reports that reference the work that was done on the computer and why I believe it was buried as opposed to a mere oversight or overlooked as they are now claiming.
Jose, review that with us now. Why do you think they chose to overlook it?
Well, the problem with this evidence is that it completely destroys the prosecution's timeline. If you recall, the only testimony of what occurred on June 16, 2008 was the testimony of George Anthony that says Casey and Kaylee left the house at 12:50. He described exactly what they were wearing, that Kaylee had a backpack, and then he walked them out. He helped her get in the car and gave her a kiss and waved goodbye. This computer activity shows someone on the computer practically all day. So if you take that and you say, oh, well, it was Casey who was on the computer, then she didn't leave at 12:50. And you have two people in the home.
Who do you think was on the computer?
I'm sorry?
Who do you think this was that was on the computer that day? Was it Mom, Dad, Casey? Who was it?
You know, you can never put someone behind a computer, and that's the biggest problem with this evidence. You know, in my book, I outline a couple of different scenarios. Of course, you could say Casey did it, but you can't have your cake and eat it too. If she was on the computer, then she didn't leave the house at 12:50, and that means someone is lying about the fact that she left the house. But you know, if you argue that they left the house, then you have to say it was George doing the searches. So I mean, you know, it cuts both ways. But I think it's much more damaging to the prosecution than it is to defense, because Casey's cell phone records also don't show her leaving the house until 4:16 that afternoon.